Dun 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 dun. It's super. Yes, people, we are here, the Wolf Pack. I am Mike Papa Knox, and we are going to talk about arguably one of the most biggest superheroes of all time, Superman himself. And we're going to dedicate the next 6 shows to reviewing every single Superman live action movie to be made. We're talking about Mr. Jor-El, Mr. all of the names we're going to name: Krypton, Lois, Lana, Man of Steel. Who's not the Man of Steel? We're going to talk about them all right back after this.
Because of the wisdom and compassion of Jor-El, because he knew the human race had the capacity for goodness, he sent us his only son. His name is Kal-El. He will call himself Clark Kent. But the world will know him as Superman. This year, Superman brings you the gift of flight. Superman, the movie.
Just before the devastation of Krypton, scientist's father, played by Marlon Brando, Jor-El sends his infant son Kal-El in a spaceship to Mother Earth. Raised by his farmer family, Jonathan and Martha Kent, we find young Superman Clark Kent himself. Christopher Reeves discovers he is unhuman, superpowers. He moves to Metropolis to fight off the good things of evil, played by none other than Lex Luthor by Gene Hackman, and he falls in love with, of all people, Lois Lane, played by Margot Kidder. We're talking about a movie that came out around the Christmas time, talking about Christmas movies hitting different back in the day. This was a Christmas blockbuster in 1978. Richard Donner directed this movie. This budget was $55 million back in 1978 and was the staple of superhero movies until the Batman made its way to debuts with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson in the summer of 1987. We give you Superman. And I am Mike Knox. I am joined by Freckles Sensei. I am joined by Vic Damone, the Mark down there from Trio Destiny, the SmackDown review show, and hell, just being one of the mainframe stays around here on Pop Review Entertainment. What's going on tonight, fellas? How y'all doing, Vic?
Chilling, fam. Just chilling. Just flash back into this and that old ass CGI and the Superman flying is like, oh man, come on, man. And I feel bad because back in the day, like I thought that was the illest shit. Like, yo, I thought that was so like cool, man. And now I'm just like looking at it like it's an 8-track. Like, come on, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but this is, I'm not gonna lie, this made me feel old. It really did.
Well,
it really did.
You feel any better? You wasn't born yet. I was 3. Okay.
No, I mean, but you know what though? This movie came out. This movie was reruns.
All the time,
like nothing else, bro. Like this was this TV stations got a lot of advertising dollars off of this movie.
I saw this for the first time at 5 years old when movies would come on CBS.
Yeah,
they would rerun the movies on CBS. That's how I saw a lot of movies growing up. My memory thinks, well, like you said, we watched this movie for years, but it's because TV got a hold of it back then. And they became a family event to sit in front of the TV and watch that blockbuster movie. Freckles, welcome to the program. My friend on the way got that Lakers on. You know, we all know it's about the Philadelphia Eagles around here, but I digress. We're going to talk Superman. Listen, this movie is directed by Richard Donner, screenplay by Mario Puzo. If you know anything about his movies, he wrote The Godfather. And when you look at this film, you start to see the writing on the wall from such a great writer in Mario Puzo into this film. And it actually has a lot of similar parallels from each movie and what he put into this movie. Obviously, this movie starts off with Jor-El and Zod, General Zod, and these guys getting put into the Phantom Zone. Jor-El tells the people, you know, the planet's about to explode. That's heresy. That is heresy. That is not going to happen, Jor-El. He doesn't matter him. He gets his son, sends him away to Earth, which, by the way, at the same time, little side note, if you don't know, but you should know, across the planet here on Krypton, so was his cousin Carr. She was being shipped off too.
Yes, literally.
So found out about her for years and years and years and years to come that she was lost in space. But we send him to Earth. Young baby Clark finds his parents, and this is where the story begins, Vic. As he goes through it, in high school, he got to suppress his powers. Lana Lane wants them to come hang with us, and we're going to go play some records. Because how old this was set back in the goddamn 50s, for heaven's sakes, like you're watching Grease, okay? But no, he has to sit back, and he can't be part of the football team because his powers are just too much, and he can't do them because his father taught him better than that Jonathan Kent. But then he has to seek out after the death of his birth father to go find out who he is. He comes across the fortune. Well, they gave him the crystal that came with the ship when he first came. He goes and finds his father, Jor-El, and he becomes who we all know as Superman, played by Christopher Reeves. Goes to Earth, becomes a mild-mannered reporter, shows off his skills by still being the clumsy bumpkin that he is, but still showing some class and some sex appeal right there. Smile that he saved Lois on the down low, itto for my New York people. But no, woo, Jack, look at that suit. One of my favorite parts of this movie. And that's where I will stop it right there for right now. Starting with you. Take on this film that took the world by storm in 1978, Superman the movie.
I'm gonna hurt some people's feelings with this take, and I know I'm gonna sound like a millennial. Now, I will say, watching this, and I tell people all the time, when you watch a movie that has a lot of nostalgia, you have to watch it. You have to watch it like you have to remind yourself of the era that it came out, because this was the first big movie for superheroes. So it's not going to be like, you can't compare this. You know, you can't make the comparison of this to like a Blade or something that had way up to date technology and things, because we did see, you know, Superman flying, and we like, you know, damn well that was just a wire, and we know, but I watched it like if I was young and watching it, because this was my first time I've ever watching it. So watching it, having to watch it like I'm young again, it was pretty exciting. Like watching it as an adult, it was pretty boring in the beginning, but watching it with the mindset of a younger person, it was exciting just to see a big, strong dude that can freaking, you know, that they can freaking stop a bullet, they can fly, they can run, they can do all these cool type of things. It was dope. It was cool to see. It was cool to see Christopher Reeve, because yes, this man is definitely the epitome of Superman. When you think of Superman, in my opinion, you think of him. You think of that. You think of the whole entire outfit, the whole entire way that he presented himself as both Clark Kent and as Superman. The acting itself was cool. The score, and I'm a big, huge music person. The score was amazing. The Superman's theme alone was so great, was so good. Dare I say this score is probably up there in my favorite scores, and that's saying something, because Star Wars is like my number one. This is almost there to Star Wars level when it comes to music, in my opinion.
This man never seen Superman the movie. That's okay. One of my favorite parts in this entire movie, Vic, is this scene here as he's running out after work, and everybody, the commotion's going on, the helicopter's up there. And to this day, I watched this, but I've must have seen this movie at least 78 times. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. My children couldn't watch it either. Like I tried to have them watch the movie, Vic, and it was like, I'm like, wake up, hang with me. But it literally takes 55 minutes before he ever almost 68 minutes before you even see that scene in the movie. I think you need to watch this movie from the perspective of it being a good film. And back in 1978, this is a true origin story. Again, back in 1980, I just Googled it, by the way. No movie had ever cost this much money.
Wow.
55 million.
Yeah, I mean,
and only grossed 300 box office. They still made their money back. And that's just the box office numbers from it. But that scene here, Vic, where he catches, he says, I got you, lady. She says, you got me. Who got you? And to this day, every time I watch that part of the movie, it really resonates with me because you're like, this world had never seen nothing like Superman. Right. And you talk about the special effects. Yeah, it's a little bendy here. Good thing is it's been redone and remastered so many times. You don't see strings and things of that nature. But before I go to you, Vic, this part right here, I always thought the interview, he gave the entire blueprint on how to defeat him. You know, I can't see past lead. There's kryptonite. So by the time you get to the super villain that is Lex Luthor, he knows everything about him. Vic, your take so far on this film?
You know, honestly, one thing, there's a lot of stuff that I forgot when it came to this, and I always thought that they weren't necessarily on brand as all of the newer stuff, but they really are. They really are. I mean, a lot of Superman's story hasn't necessarily changed much. There's a lot of parts of this movie that I forgot.
DC don't change their plots a lot. Marvel's just started doing that because they have the source material. But and again, remember early on, Marvel's arguments when they were making movie before the MCU came along was that there was lack of continuity for what people knew of the stories. You know what I mean? So by the time they got to the MCU, fans were finally like, yes, that's like I love X2, right? To me, X2 changed comic book movies forever. But that was the first time a movie, but it wasn't exactly what you knew to X-Men in itself. Vic.
No, the thing with this is just that like they were basically just taking it directly off the comic books.
Exactly.
Like the fact that this is called Superman, quote unquote,
the movie.
You know what I mean? Like, and you could just with that being said, you can think back to that time. Or those times when everything was, we made a movie about this. Like the only thing that I can compare to is what Mortal Kombat or Ninja Turtles. The first Ninja Turtles. What? Yeah. I was there all day.
We did a review for that. Go back and see it on Popular Review Entertainment. We did those reviews on the Turtle movies.
But mind you, it was just like if they made a movie out of this content, then it was a big deal. We don't have that anymore. You know, I mean, maybe with Sonic
now with like video games. Now it's more like video games.
But there's more
things. But it's still animated. You know what I mean? Even though they try to make it live action, it's still they have a way of adding animation now. And don't get me wrong, that stuff is great. But it's just amazing. Like our expectations have gotten really, really high. Because it's hard to look past. It's hard to look at this and not.
Wait a minute, was that one small and one big? Hold up, wait.
That's crazy.
No, it's just the angle.
Yeah. Okay, I was like, whoa.
I see that now. Now that it's hard to unsee it. You know what I mean? But no, like even like that's just it, and it kind of makes me proud to look at this and be like, yo, we've come far in like. In 50 years, like almost 50 years, we've come far for Superman to start like this. But other than that, the story's banging because Gene Hackman is a good Lex Luthor, bro. Real good Lex Luthor, bro. Like,
when we get later on down the line in these miniseries, because Lex plays Lex through Superman 1, 2, and 4. Wasn't in 3 for whatever reason. But we get to Superman Returns and we finally get another abduction or adaptation, that is, of Lex Luthor. And I personally thought that my guy, Kaija Sosak, didn't play such a bad Lex. That movie got a bad rap But we'll talk about that later. Listen, we're gonna take a break. Only break of the night. We're gonna come back, finish up this review of Superman the movie. Hold on, Superman the movie, is as Vic put it, and we're gonna give her our thumbs up, thumbs down for this 1978. A lot of people call it a masterpiece. What did you think? We'll be right back, y'all.
The world is on the brink of destruction.
Superman, can you hear me?
And Metropolis is in ruins.
Superman, help us!
Is there no one on this planet to even challenge me?
Superman!
General, would you care to step outside?
The adventure continues in Superman 2.
And we are back. Our movie we got coming up next week here on Unpop Review Entertainment as we continue our Superman themed movies leading up to the new Superman film coming out this year as well. Again, Gene Hackman, we left off at Vic, spoken about this things. But again, we learned from that interview that he gave Lex the key to everything, how to put the kryptonite on him. Mrs. Tessmacher never liked the plan that he had. Otis, the dumb goof friend that he has, or henchman, sidekick, if you will, that he has. All about saving her mother. The plan Lex comes up with is he can't be in two places at one time, and somebody has to go. When he kills Lois, to me at this time of the kid, this was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Him running the earth back and rewinding time to pull his love back to life. Gene Hackman ends up in prison, and we conclude the movie. If you haven't seen this movie, Superman, the movie, again, from 1978, unlike Freckle Sensei, clearly, where have you been? Sleeping underneath a tree? Or you just a Superman hater? It is arguably one of the greatest subtitles, how would you say it, origin movies in the history of comic book movies. Again, it took almost 10 years before another one other than Superman was brought to the screen. Okay. In the form, now you had various renditions of TV shows, of course. At this time, the Batman TV show was very successful. Shout out to Earth.
Kid. But that was simple. You know why?
Yeah, because a TV show.
People like the plat.
Wow. Yeah. That was Hey, I watched that as a kid, Vic, and it was fun to me back then. My uncle Mike used to play that. I mean, that to this day, you still see people copy that format. From what they did from the DC Batman TV show. To this day, I love watching villains that will appear on TV and the screen is crooked, because that was such a simple thing that they showed that said that they were the bad guys. Every time they showed the bad guys, it was a crooked scene. I thought that was great. And again, getting into this movie, talking about the roles of this movie, again, I thought Gene Hackman played a phenomenal role. I think no one could have played a better Christopher Reeves than Christopher Reeves in this movie. He demonstrated, like, just the fact, I thought his character was so deeply into what even us as humans don't portray, and he's not a human. And that's so good that he knew about the purse. He knew, like, just little things. He was on purpose. Like, I remember the squeezing the orange juice thing for Lois in the office. It's just little bitty subtleties that he wanted to separate himself from, that he could not be who he really was, this confident, I can do whatever I want kind of thing in the world. And the way that Richard Donner directed this movie and the way it was written by Mario Puzo, it was just, to me, I'm going to say it right here, a masterpiece. And again, I've seen this movie at least 78 times. But this time I actually went in as a person to review this film and said, okay, is it really that good? Or am I just still being a Super Mark fan? So I watched it, I always like to throw this out there. It's not bragging. If you haven't, my major. Okay. These are things I learned when you were a sports journalism major. You had to go to film classes and things of this nature and how a story is put together. This movie won Oscars, multiple Oscars.
I'm sure.
Okay. Which threw me off. I knew it won for like the score, right? Which we can't speak no further about. But animation, of course, at this time of the day, things we had never seen before, Vic. Yeah.
You know what though? But this has got Jimmy Carter written all over it.
I was waiting for it.
like it's very progressive. It's very like, let's move the country forward type shit. Like, it's very much that way. This move to be in 78 it's like perfect timing for the narrative that's going on here. Like, I'm sure there was a couple of government contracts going into this movie.
Definitely.
Absolutely. So for me, I'm going to be honest. It just gets a thumbs down in every single sense of the word. Margot Kidder becomes a star after this movie. This movie generated stars. This movie grossed $300 million at the box office. This movie gave you lunch boxes and cereal thing. I mean, like, people wonder why he's considered the greatest superhero in American comic book history. It's simple. And not even just in America, in the world. It is the most recognized symbol of a fictional than anything ever made. It's the Superman emblem and the Superman logo. Again, fandom aside, watch this movie how it was written, even the early Smallville years. Okay, again, it's set back when they had sock hops. Who the hell who's listening to us know what the hell a sock hop is? I bet you Freckles Sensei knows what a sock hop is.
Damn, I don't know what it's.
There were dances back then. You know what I mean? That's what they used to call a dance. So
I mean, it was out in the days of the rotary phones. You heard?
I mean, I have a rotary phone, so like that.
Those things lasted.
I've had.
No, because those things lasted. Those were like Zenith TVs. They lasted forever.
As you said, we're watching that 8-track movie called Superman the Movie. Thumbs up for me. What you got, Freckles Sensei? And final thoughts.
So I'm gonna give it overall thumbs up due to the fact that it did win. It did get the accolades. It did win it. It wasn't one of my favorite movies, but the fact that I still enjoyed the music. I still enjoyed some of the acting, specifically Chris. Love the villain, love the portray of Lex. I enjoyed all of that. And then once again, people, you have to watch a movie. If you haven't seen it, you have to, for the haters out there, you have to watch the movie like you're watching it in that era. And it will make all the more sense in the world. And that's what I did.
Look at this guy finally walking into the program, Vic. We've been saying that for 4 years around here because this is and forever will be Team No Ma'am. We miss you, Chris.
Tonight's broadcast has been commandeered by the secret society No Ma'am, National Organization of Men Against Amazonian Masterhood.
What you got, Vic? Thumbs up, thumbs down, sir. And final thoughts.
Well, I'm upset because it's old and I don't have the patience for it anymore. You know what I mean? I do have that nostalgia feel, but I think I'm just upset with like how much I've changed and how much more I want now, if that makes sense, as opposed to how little we needed back then. I guess that's what I'm feeling, you know. But overall, I still like the movie, but I certainly didn't enjoy it as much as I did when I was a kid, and that makes me sad. You know, I'll still give it a thumbs up, but yeah, it makes me sad. It's kind of like, you know what I mean? It's like playing Sonic 1 and then getting bored with it 5 minutes in.
Yeah, you're like,
yeah. It's like that.
I can't use it as an example excuse, but hey, to each their own. Listen, guys, we're going to get it out of here. Thanks for watching the Wolf Pack Unpop Review Entertainment. Make sure you guys like, follow, subscribe, hit the bell notification. We go live. You know we go live. And most importantly, share and subscribe to this video. We've done some research. We realized that 67% of you guys who are watching our videos are not subscribers. Come on, hit the subscribe button, comment below, let us know your thoughts. We are out of here. I am Mike Knox. That's Freckles Sensei, Victor Moan, Jr., Superman 1, the motion picture, the movie that is. What did you think about it? We'll see y'all next week, y'all. Peace.
Because of the wisdom and compassion of Jor-El, because he knew the human race had the capacity for goodness, he sent us his only son. His name is Kal-El. He will call himself Clark Kent. But the world will know him as Superman. This year, Superman brings you the gift of flight. Superman, the movie.